Every May Day is the workers' holiday around the world. It was revived and reclaimed by the immigrants' workers' rights movement in 2006. And now, this year, union workers and immigrant workers will be marching side by side.
I just want to make a little bit of a historical correction, because the movement to reclaim May Day actually started in 2005 by the Million Worker March movement, who saw this as an important act to bring labor back to its true roots and not be diverted by September and the useless Labor Day that has no historical relationship to workers. And Clarence Thomas, Larry Holmes, Teresa, and so many others were a part of building the Million Worker March movement. In 2005, we marched all the way up to 1st or 2nd Avenue around the hospitals that were being closed and people being laid off. So that Million Worker March and this whole May 1st coalition has been a part of a struggle way before any other recent struggle around workers' rights, immigrant rights, the right to a pension, the right to protect Social Security, the right to a job with a living wage, with a real wage. You know, people talk about a living wage, it's kind of an abstract thing. In New York City, a living wage is about $20 an hour to start off on the top end of being poor. So, you know, what we're doing this year, what's happening this year is that we have now built a unity with the organized labor of New York to bring the forces of justice from an independent perspective with the forces of justice from organized labor's side of the fence into a joint action. And this is really a trigger that's coming out of Wisconsin, it's coming out of Tunisia, it's coming out of Egypt, it's coming out of the struggles in Woodlawn. And we are building a nationwide powerhouse that's going to push Obama back, it's going to push the Tea Party back, it's going to push George Bush, his daddy, Reagan, and all them, all the way back till we can get back to somewhere around the ideology that Roosevelt had, and then we'll go from there. But this is a real fight back struggle to say that we have a right to a job, and if you can afford to fire $150 million worth of missiles in 2 days, you can afford to keep a school open. You can afford to have small classroom sizes. You can afford to keep hospitals open. And that's what this struggle is about. You know, capital is free to roam the globe. Labor should have the same freedom to roam the globe at will. You're not a criminal, and you could offer up some labor. You have a right to travel and work. And that's what this struggle is all about. And Sunday is going to be a powerful day for all of New York and for labor in general.
The May 1st Coalition that organizes the Union Square rally and has done so, like Chris says, since 2005. We have a particular message about May Day 2011 and what kind of worker and immigrant movement we want, what kind of labor movement we want. And one of our speakers on Sunday signifies exactly what kind of movement we are looking for and what kind of movement we want to support and encourage. And a good representative of that movement is a speaker from California, Clarence Thomas, who is with the International Longshore and Warehouse Union Local 10, who on April 4th, their union, in solidarity with Wisconsin, shut down the port and didn't go to work. This is the kind of labor movement we want. This is the kind of labor leaders that we want to support and encourage on May Day, and that's why he'll be a featured speaker. Lucky guy, he gets 3 whole minutes on Sunday. So please welcome Clarence Thomas.
ILWU Local 10 action was a courageous act of conscience. It was a voluntary rank and file action that resulted in an organized act of resistance. This is fundamental to the fight back that must be built to stop the attacks on not only collective bargaining, but on the working class itself. This is not just a matter of collective bargaining. This has to do with the neoliberal policy, which includes such things as tax cuts to the rich, busting unions, privatizing the public services, eliminating social services, and deregulating the economy. It comes as a package, and we need to be very clear about this. The importance of the immigrant rights movement, who has shown us the way in the labor movement with its courageous action on 2006. Now, I just want to make a point that underscores a footnote of history. In 2006, with the Great American Boycott, immigrant truckers in the port of Los Angeles and Long Beach shut down those two ports 90%, not because longshore workers didn't work, but because the immigrant truck drivers didn't go to work. That sent a very strong message. And we also understand the repression that came down subsequently to that. But the key thing of the unity between organized labor and the left, the immigrant rights community, is essential at this moment. We don't need division, we need unity. And it starts on the job with rank and file unity. And I'm very glad to be a part of May Day activities. Thank you very much.
Last May Day 2010, after we marched and had a great day, we got calls from the Day Laborers Organization of Woodside, Queens. And several of us had to rush to Queens last year, right after May Day, after marching and so forth, because the street vendors and some of the organizers of Woodside, Queens had been picked up by the police because they had not paid tickets that were only in English and that they couldn't understand. So the Day Laborers of Woodside, Queens organized several of us to go back to Queens on May 1st last year, and they led a march to the police precinct to demand that they let go of these workers that were being held. And you got to take the picture. It was these white police officers, primarily white, they weren't all white. And when we went over there to the police precinct, the police were telling us, they were saying things like, they're not even born here. I mean, they were saying racist stuff right to us, our face, right? So these workers stormed the police precinct last year, and this is the kind of spirit and the kind of militancy that, despite all the anti-immigrant legislation and despite the deportation of 1 million workers, the immigrant community is still fighting back and is still demanding its rights. And Roberto Meneses from the Day Laborers of Woodside, Queens represent that militancy and that spirit of struggle. So please welcome Roberto Meneses.
Hola, buenas tardes otra vez. Aquí estamos reunidos para iniciar pues y la convocatoria para nuestro 1 de mayo.
Once again, we are here today to gather and organize for May Day, May Day.
Sí, como la compañera Teresa estaba explicando en la introducción, nosotros nos estamos enfrentando al acoso de la policía en las calles todos los días.
As Teresa said, we encounter police harassment every day in the streets.
Tanto los jornaleros como los vendedores, como ella especificó, mientras nosotros marchábamos el año pasado aquí en Union Square, la policía estaba arrestando a una compañera vendedora. Incluso tuvimos, después de la marcha, ir a tratar de liberarla, y fuimos como 30 compañeros. La policía se asustó cuando llegamos todos en montón y no sabían qué hacer. Ellos tuvieron miedo cuando vieron que la gente reunida estaba buscando a su compañera.
And yes, last year, while we were marching, street vendors, because both street vendors and day laborers get harassed by the police every day, they were being harassed and arrested, and we did go over there to the police precinct to defend the street vendor, and we marched on the police precinct with no fear whatsoever.
Después de esa visita al precinto tuvimos que hacer otra marcha el 16 de mayo. En mayo estuvimos muy ocupados
We had to organize another march. We didn't just stop on May Day. We had an activity and a march on May 16th. We're very busy that month.
Sí, solamente de esa manera pudimos aplacar un poco el acoso de la policía en el condado de Queens. Tuvieron que mover a los jefes policíacos a otros condados de Queens. Entonces, ahorita ha bajado un poco ese acoso, pero no nos confiamos y por eso seguimos organizándonos.
¿Ustedes ganaron? ¿Mudaron?
Sí.
They were able to win a victory that some of the worst police leaders in that precinct who were harassing them so much were actually moved to another precinct as a result of their struggle.
Sí. Sí, me parece que lo mandaron al Bronx, allá Castillo se va a tener que arreglar con él.
We believe that they sent the worst one to the Bronx and Brother Castillo is going to have to deal with him in the Bronx.
Sí, también estamos nosotros marchando para denunciar la política que está llevando a cabo este presidente. Este presidente ha disimuladamente implementado un estado policíaco, igual como lo está haciendo Calderón en México. En México no es disimulado, aquí por lo menos está disimulado con el programa de comunidades seguras. Es solamente para disimular el estado policíaco que el gobierno está implementando en contra de los inmigrantes.
We are also marching on May 1st to condemn what is happening with the president, the administration of the current president that has, in the United States, that has very similar features to the president of Mexico, Calderón. With the Obama administration, Secure Communities, which is the program that is leading to the deportations of about 1 million workers, we find a police terror in our communities as a result of that program.
Y hay que tener cuidado, la frontera se está haciendo más hacia el sur. Primero fue en la frontera de Chiapas, ahora con el nuevo programa que está haciendo la administración Obama, es de darle dinero a El Salvador, $400 millones para hacer que la frontera baje un poco más. Ellos ya no pueden contener la inmigración, precisamente por eso han implementado esos nuevos programas y ese dinero que están mandando para allá es precisamente para detener toda esa inmigración.
So the U.S. government is spending millions and millions of dollars to carry out programs that are affecting workers and forcing migration, not just as far south as Chiapas, Mexico. This money is now being given to countries like in El Salvador to try to detain and harass the migrants further south, but that's just going to create more migration.
Entonces hay que tener cuidado, compañeros, por eso estamos invitando a todos los compañeros, a los jornaleros, a los trabajadores, que todos salgamos el 1 de mayo, el domingo, para manifestarnos y para que el gobierno tenga que cambiar esa forma de hacer tratar a los inmigrantes. Debe haber un cambio en ese sentido. No podemos continuar con esa política que están implementando. Por eso todos a la marcha el 1 de mayo aquí. Gracias.
And that's why we're calling on day laborers and immigrants and all workers to come out to struggle. We can't stay home. We have to fight back. We have to organize. So all out for May 1st this year. We were so encouraged by the fight back spirit of the people of Wisconsin. So we have brought from Wisconsin Gilbert Johnson, who is the president of AFSCME Local 82 at the University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee.
Thank you. I am so grateful for all of you who thought to bring me out here. And I'm just enjoying New York for my first time. I was actually at a Peekskill Dude Ranch some time ago, and I never did get to come to the city, but it's an honor to be here and to be representing Wisconsin. I bring you greetings from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And we're not quite Madison, so we don't quite have all the spirit, but I did go to Madison and for about a week, and I was camped out there in the Capitol. I didn't sleep over, but I was in charge of travel. So here I am traveling to New York. I'm right in my niche. But what we want to do in Milwaukee, and we're hoping that we can help you here, is to bring the spirit of Madison, which is a spirit of no more business as usual. The business as usual has gotten us defeat after defeat. And today, as I assemble here with you, I see that we are not doing business as usual because I know that we could be eating lunch or somewhere else, but we're here together in the spirit of family in the spirit of kindness and love for each other and reaching out to each other as we can help. That's what we got to copy, not only here but in Milwaukee. You know, we have a great march going on May 1st in Milwaukee, and I hate that I'm going to miss that. That's one of the great events in Milwaukee, to be honest with you, I missed the last few of them, and I'm originally from Chicago, but the great event in Milwaukee has been the May Day March by the Hispanic community, and I made it a point that I'm going to be involved with that march this year, and of course now I'm here. So I'm going to do all the press I can to connect back with Milwaukee as I'm here, and so let's send some love back out to Milwaukee. We got Rich Trumka down there, and that's going to be a great march, and we hope we have great numbers. I know we had like 70,000 last year, so I'm looking to get those kind of numbers like we had in Madison. We want to be able to duplicate that in Milwaukee, not only with the Hispanic community, but the Hispanic community coming across from the south side to the north side to join in with labor and other communities to have just a gigantic movement that will transform the rights of workers and community people to the top where we should be, because we're not less than rich people. We're equal. You know, we're equal. We're not a. That's right. We're better because we work harder and we love harder. You know, and that's the spirit that I want to have. And I send my love out to all of you, and I thank you for having me here.
If you're angry about the way that the working class is being treated, about immigrants being denied their basic working rights and human rights, about unemployed people having no jobs while banks and corporations get everything, if you're angry that today you turn on your TV and all of a sudden the world is celebrating royalty, you know, and that should make you angry, then make sure you are here on May Day, Sunday, International Workers' Day. It's your day. Sunday, it's Working Class Day, and you can't be silent. You can't be invisible. You need to come out here at noontime in Union Square, because the lowest paid worker, the salt of the earth, is 1,000 times more important than a king or a prince. Be here.
I don't think anybody left April 9th without knowing that the next step in the struggle to stop the war and denounce the war was May 1st. And one of those organizers of the United National Anti-War Coalition is Sarah Flounders, who will be representing UNAC right now.
All over the world, people celebrate May Day as a day of fight back, of workers' fight back, of immigrant fight back, and we really owe an enormous amount to the Million Worker March and to the immigrant rights movement for reviving May Day in the U.S. In cities across the United States, on May Day, there will be demonstrations this year, and here in Union Square, it really began, this revival of May Day as a real fighting day. U.S. wars where trillions of dollars are absolutely wasted in the complete destruction of entire countries at a time of enormous cutbacks right here. It's such an important time to make the links of those struggles, because the war comes home right here. It comes home in a militarized border, in raids and roundups, more than 1 million deportations. It comes home in terms of the racial profiling, racism, and a growth in the prison population. It comes home in joblessness right here and cutbacks that are absolutely destroying and gutting our cities and the future of our youth. It comes home in higher tuition and more cuts in schools. So when we link the wars abroad and the wars here at home, which are growing fiercer by the moment, new wars in Libya, new wars here at home against the immigrants, against prisoners, against all workers, May Day is a day for unity, for solidarity, and for addressing U.S. wars and saying no. We defend and demand full rights for all working people here and around the world.
Sunday, May 1st, we're not just going to be marching for legalization. Let's be clear, we're not demanding comprehensive immigration reform. That's code language for more militarization of the border It doesn't provide legalization. We want legalization. That's the #1 demand of the immigrant communities on Sunday. But we're also marching in solidarity with ILWU, as we've said, in solidarity with Wisconsin. And we're also marching against the cutbacks right here in New York City. And Union Square has to send a message to Bloomberg that the people call the shots, not Wall Street. And so we are marching in solidarity with the New Yorkers against the budget cuts. And representing them here today is Larry Hales, New Yorkers Against the Budget Cuts.
In 2005, we actually had a May Day in Denver. And it was 5 degrees outside. And it was snowing. And that's Colorado weather for you. But the next year in 2006, it was much warmer. The temperature and politically, and that's when tens of thousands of immigrant workers, in response to the right-wing Sensenbrenner bill, came out against that bill in defense of their interests. And if you look at now today, it seems like 2005 was, and 2006 even, was a very long time ago. The conditions that have come with the collapse of the system, or the crisis in the system, the economic crisis, had brought a lot of hardship to people around the world, and we've seen the response of people in Greece and Italy, here in Wisconsin, Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, throughout the country. We've seen students that have gone out against the attacks on the public education system, and just the past 2 days we've seen very important demonstrations in New Jersey and New Brunswick at Rutgers, students in response to the tuition increases and fee increases occupied the president's office, and in Tucson, Arizona, in response to the canceling of the ethnic studies program in the Tucson Unified School District and the threat to take away credits for the students occupied and took over and shut down the board hearing meeting. And they were attacked for that, and they're facing criminal charges for having done that. But you see, we're going to see a much more broad and angry and militant response to these cutbacks. Here in New York, we have seen it. May 1st is part of that process of building a people's movement against it. And we need to make that movement attractive. It needs to have the gravitational pull of the sun. And we need to turn up the heat and make it 1,000 degrees hotter for those who would dare attack our immigrant brothers and sisters, who would imprison our black and brown brothers and sisters and indigenous people, those who are responsible for the massive unemployment, especially in the black community, and the cutbacks, the privatization of the public education system, and the privatization of the public sector in general, those who want to take away seniority of teachers and all public sector workers. We need to turn up the heat and let them know that we're not going to stand for this. And the only way, they're taking away the gains that were won decades and decades ago, and the only way we won those in the first place was through struggle. The only way we will defend those interests is through struggle. The only way that we will push forward and win the society that we deserve is through struggle. So let's make it hot, and I believe that we can win. We will win. All power to the people.
Please get the word out. 12 noon right here Sunday. We're leaving by 1 or 1:15 and marching to Foley Square for a closing unity rally. History's going to be made once again on May Day 2011.
El domingo será el cierre de una buena campaña que hemos tenido. El domingo se llena no solamente este lugar, sino más bien desde Washington, Chicago y la América Latina y todos los estados estarán protestando firmemente a favor de los inmigrantes y que se legalice inmediatamente todos los indocumentados.
On Sunday, May 1st, not just here in New York City, but in Washington, D.C., and in cities throughout the United States, as well as throughout the world, in the United States, people are going to be demanding legalization for all the undocumented.
Tanto las Naciones Unidas como las organizaciones de Estados Americanos deben de saber que aquí se necesita una reforma migratoria. Y aquí va a haber reforma migratoria, porque este pueblo entero, los jornaleros, los estudiantes, los profesionales, los pequeños empresarios, los catedráticos de universidades, las escuelas, los profesores y la gente y las mujeres del pueblo estarán presentes este domingo a partir del mediodía. Están todo el mundo aquí.
All sectors will be out here Sunday, 12 noon, marching at Union Square.
Entonces, les solicitamos para que ustedes sepan a la prensa que se hagan eco de que también al Bronx lo vamos a poner a temblar con una concentración mañana sábado para calentar los brazos, para venir todo del Bronx, para ese batallón del Bronx, de indocumentados, de inmigrantes también del Bronx, de los jornaleros del Bronx. Todos van a venir aquí, los profesionales del Bronx, los negociantes del Bronx, los comerciantes del Bronx y los pequeños empresarios del Bronx estarán presentes este domingo, el día 1 de mayo, Día Internacional de la Clase Trabajadora.
So to warm things up, we're going to gather Saturday at 10 a.m. in the Bronx, and everyone's going to come out. Everybody's going to come out Saturday at 10 a.m. at a demonstration at St. Anne's, and it's in preparation to come down everyone from the Bronx on Sunday here. So all out for May Day 2011, and this concludes our press conference. Thank you.